Well, this is just going all kinds of awesome. It is 12 o'clock on the west coast of the United States. It is 0800, and it's now 0801 GMT. cBaS After Dark for Monday. It is actually what we now call, what we have always called, Nerd News Monday. Nerd News. That's what our Monday is all about here on the cBaS After Dark program. The thing, that's what I wanted. Good Lord God. Why was this so difficult? I don't know. Anyway, welcome to cBaS After Dark for the new sort of revamped version of the show where we now kick off each day rather than complete each day. In other words, the Nerd News Monday happens at 12 o'clock midnight time, West Coast time, and so on. So it's very technical. We're going to be very technical about this and say, okay, Monday, Nerd News Monday starts at midnight Monday or 0800 GMT Monday morning. And be that as it may, also the other ones like Game Show Tuesday and Media Watch Wednesday and so on. And anything can happen Thursday. All of those will happen now at midnight East Coast time, West Coast time, and 0300 East Coast time, 0800 GMT. So this is the show we're going to do, and I wanted to start off. There's a few things I want to do tonight. The first thing is kind of a retro thing. I want to do old-fashioned emergency broadcast system tests, EBS tests, right? We all know what it is to have the emergency broadcast system go off. This is only a test. The broadcasters of your area, in voluntary cooperation with federal, state, and local authorities, have developed this system to keep you informed in the event of an emergency. If this had been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by news or official information. This station serves the Enid, Oklahoma area. This is the last of the emergency broadcast system, whatever the hell. So I had that memorized ever since I was a kid, and I wanted to look at some of them just because it kind of felt like the retro nerd thing I wanted to do today. Let's see. Hey, look at that. It's the event, cBaS After Dark. We could actually, can I actually watch myself right now live? I'm not going to listen because that would be too much audio weirdness going on, but let's see what I can see as far as clicking on my own cast here and watching it. This will be interesting. Oh my God, there I am. Okay, so it's not, I don't know. It looks like it's at 003, 004. It just changed to. So, okay. Interesting. Well, there we go. We can actually watch myself. But that's not what I want to do. We're going to go to YouTube. So, okay. Hello. Hello, me. Thank you, me. Yeah, we're going to go to YouTube as soon as the system wakes up here. Oh, good Lord. I do not get why, and do not think it should still be, that backspace is ever back in the web browser. Should never be. This should never ever be true, and yet it totally is all the time. Hey, look at all the game shows. Yeah, we should do some game shows. Well, we will do game shows for Game Show Tuesday, which is 23 hours and 55 minutes from now. Okay. Emergency broadcast system test. Let's see here. Many of these are homemade, like YouTube videos. Oh. Comedy.tv is on. How about that? Thank you very much. One moment, please. It's funny. That's actually what the screen says when I have my students hanging on to begin the class, like for a few minutes before the class starts. As I'm getting set up, I put up a screen that says, "1 moment, please." Oh, that was exciting. Oh, I see. Okay. There's no reason for that to be so loud. Screw it. Let's actually do activation. Why not? The emergency alert system activation. I don't want anybody's mock video. There's many places that actually do a mock video. Okay, here we go. In Los Angeles, I can't believe they actually hit the emergency broadcast system.
Effective at 6:45 p.m. this day, the Los Angeles County Emergency Operations Center has announced expanded boundaries for the emergency curfew.
Emergency curfew.
Bounded by the Long Beach Freeway on the east, Santa Ana and Santa Monica freeways on the north, along the beach stretch of the San Diego Freeway to Crenshaw Boulevard, and then Crenshaw Boulevard south to Levita Boulevard on the west, and Levita Boulevard on the south. Additionally, the unincorporated community of East Los Angeles, as well as the entire city of Los Angeles, continues to be included. This concludes the activation of the emergency broadcast system. April 30th, 1992 at 19:17 hours.
Wow, cool. In fact, I love all these kind of special report interruptions. I totally have an itchy ear for no good reason. Let's watch Dan Rather here from.
Hey, Bill Spinn's trying to get more than 100, and he gets
it's the Joker's Wild. What is this from? November '83.
Good morning. This is Dan Rather in New York. Against the Middle East and a creative backdrop, President Reagan is about to appear before reporters at the White House. On the Middle East, the President apparently will announce that former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld will be named as his new Special Mideast Envoy.
Wow, okay. And the funny thing is, the description of that video actually had the person who posted it saying that news sound effect still gives her kind of the willies, just because, you know. Here's CBS The Early Show, Mark McEwen. This has to be from a number of years ago. 2001. Oh, wow. I mean, I've watched this once. 2 years ago now. 2 years ago on September 11th is when I watched all of these. This is just sort of the coverage, I guess, before the first airplane hit. Because it was like an Everybody Loves Raymond interview. And then Brian Gumbel doing a cooking segment. Here we go. Oh, by the way, I have not opened my soda yet tonight. The Week of Wishes on CBS News. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Crash on the southern tip of Manhattan. You're looking at the World Trade Center. We understand that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center. We don't know.
All right, well, this is something I actually would like to sort of go through on Media Watch Wednesday another time. Perhaps on, and of course, whenever you go down the road of 9/11 news footage, then you get all these other suggested videos, and not all of them are legit. Some of them are like, you know, the you know, why can I not say the conspiracy theory bullshit? Conspiracy theory bullshit. That's what I was trying to say.
Hey, Bill Spin's trying to
Gosh, Jack Barry's got a shrill voice. Okay. What other ones? Grapevine truck crash. A lot of these are, of course, weather alerts as well. Civil danger, September 11th. Oh, my take on what the EAS might have looked like if it was activated on 9/11. I don't get why people feel they need to even create such a video. Not that I think they shouldn't. It's not what I'm saying. I don't think they it's not that I don't think they should. It's not that I think they shouldn't. It is that I think it's a weird thing to sort of imagine. And I imagine some weird shit, and I don't mind it, but that's weird. Okay, let's see. Velasco, Texas, swine flu emergency. Oh, really? Oh, Jesus. That was very loud. All schools are closed effective 5 p.m. April 30th and will reopen sometime next week. Okay, so no voice announcement, just the text alert there. Okay, all right. No, god damn. Okay, interesting. EAS fail.
A lot of viewers were frightened by a signal that sounded like an emergency alert. Here's CBS 2. Give you a call. If you were watching CBS 2 at 7:30 this morning,
Imagine if you're watching the news.
An emergency alert system message formally issued to viewers about a federal emergency went out during the early show. And Hergesheimer was watching. I actually think they're calling all my relatives and waking them up and telling them to get back to the basement. She thought the country was under attack, but instead of instructions,
Get to the basement, we're under attack.
TV viewers heard a WGN radio sports program.
Hi there. Yeah, we just trying to figure out what that beacon was all about.
Over at WCKG Radio, Jerry Meyer was preparing to go on the air. He also heard WGN and received this printout.
And it says this is not a test, it's a real alert. The president's going to talk in a few minutes, so do not disarm this alert.
WGN was broadcast because it is the designated emergency alert station.
Yeah, there's a designated station.
It turns out the Illinois Office of Emergency Management was testing a new satellite warning system. And instead of sending out an internal test code, a real message went out.
It's still under investigation to how that message went out. OUC was alerted right away that it was it wasn't a true emergency.
Unfortunately, those messages are automatic, so there was no way for stations like ours to override the alert. We're glad viewers like Dan emailed our website so we could tell her there was no emergency.
Yeah. I love stories like that. Possibly more than life itself. Like, that is such a great thing to have an emergency system in place, ready to go, and have it go off incorrectly. Not as a test, but as an actual alert. This is not a test, even. And not that it was hacked. It was a mistake, you know? Let's see. OpenYourEyesPeople.com. Oh, Lord.
You also saw in the segment, Uverse customers report strange emergency message.
A surprise for AT&T Uverse customers this morning when an emergency alert appeared taking control of their televisions. Oh, yes, there was no emergency. On-site senior digital editor will has followed the story all morning.
Oh my God, he looks like the comic book guy.
A lot of people talking about this one.
Oh man, they are indeed. So imagine the panic this caused for thousands of Uverse customers. There you are catching up on morning TV when an emergency alert comes across the screen saying a special message is on the way from the White House. Here's a look at some of the photos we've received into our newsroom.
Your channel will change momentarily.
It's automatically change the channel and will not allow customers access to other channels. It's an error that reportedly affected customers in Atlanta, Dallas, Austin, and Nashville. Our Fox 5 engineering team immediately contacted Uverse to tell us the error was in the emergency alert notification system, or EAN. Now, in an actual emergency, it can only be activated by the White House for a national emergency. UVerse has not told us what caused the issue,
Well,
but they say they are actively working to address it.
Apparently not.
The progress of this story today on MyFoxAtlanta.com.
Atlanta, Dallas, Austin, Nashville. Okay, Atlanta, Dallas, Austin, Nashville had that happen. That's pretty funny. I think that's actually very funny. I should not think it's funny, but I do. By the way, what's coming up? X-Files coming up later. I'm totally going to talk about it kind of toward the last 20 minutes of the show. Let's do a couple more of these. I'm having a good time enjoying the emergency alert errors and so on. My favorite ones are the local area alerts, even if they're incorrect. Last week we did one night when I talked about the crash of the preview guide, and that was enormous fun. And I don't want somebody's like mock-up version of what such a video might look like. Nobody cares what you think anything like that looks like. Your channel has been force-tuned to receive this emergency alert message. You know, I think if they could just change that wording, it would freak a lot fewer people out. Don't you think? And then, of course, I've actually reported back in the journalism days of mine, I actually reported on the news story when somebody hacked a emergency alert system in like the Pacific Northwest, I believe, and got the system to report that zombies were rising from graves and attacking people. Stay tuned for more information. And it totally fired off the emergency alert system. For real, like it fired off the system for real, even though there was no real zombie alert. Let's see. All right, let's do a tornado watch. Why not? Local weather. I like this. Oh, I wonder if it'll be Grant County. No, not Grant County. Okay. Because these are counties in Kansas. I recognize them, but it's not where I used to live in Kansas many, many, many years ago. All right. Thank you for that. That was cool. In Topeka, Kansas. It was the opposite corner of the state from where I was. No wonder. Oh, let's see. Are there any more? Let's see here. KFBK activated the emergency alert system. This is the station I have been on doing news. KFBK says the incident was a result of human error and a bad training. Just shut the fuck up. Okay. AM talk station KFBK Sacramento activated their things instead of the EAS ending tone station. The station proceeded to air an ad for GOP senatorial Dick so-and-so. Okay. That's such a piercing tone. And then the tone we all know. I'm trying to be quiet. I'm sorry. I know that's stupid, but here's the tone, and I will turn it up for the words.
This concludes this test of the emergency alert system. It's estimated that 4 to 10 million illegal immigrants cross into the United States every year, and they're not just coming for jobs.
It's a commercial about illegal immigrants.
More Americans have died at the hands of illegal aliens than died in the terrorist attacks in the war in Iraq.
More people have died from illegal aliens than have died from the war in Iraq. Vote for Dick so-and-so. I don't care so much about the ad. What I'm fascinated by is that this station had another emergency alert error, right? Where they send out the test the way it's supposed to go. 3 long tones and then 3 short tones or whatever. And the little message in between, this is only a test, right? But instead of the tones at the end that make the stations go back to normal programming, and that's all automated, by the way, right? You understand, those little tones, those last 3 tones are there to stop the kind of override over all radio and TV stations and let each station go back to programming. But that tone did not play. So the next thing that played on this station happened to be a conservative, like, political ad. And it went over like every radio station and television station in the region for Lord even only knows how long. Let's see here. Let's just see what the YouTube comments have to say about this, because this is funny. This is obviously a mistake from listening. It wasn't just an ad for the guy, because the second ad came in. Someone simply forgot to hit a switch or something. I have a sense it was more of a technical automated malfunction rather than a person forgetting, but I think the same thing essentially is true. And by the way, the guy who the commercial was for lost that election that was coming up. The average warning broadcast is a radio and TV testing log. It is required by state. Since most radio stations broadcast several radio stations at one time, that's sort of weird. Okay. It only makes sense they might have had another sequence at the same time. So in conclusion, you're most likely hearing another radio channel put out by the same station that puts out the signal you were. You know, that's kind of surprisingly cogent for a YouTube comment. Anyway, that's my favorite one of these we've talked about. This is cBas After Dark. I'm cBas. Thank you for being here. I have not put my phone number up on the screen, even though I usually like to invite people to text, just even to say hi. Let me do that really fast, just because I do like that. I do like that, even though no one ever really texts me. Certainly not live on the air, but please do. In the event you'd like to chime in, tell me I'm full of shit, whatever. There's the phone number, 310-776-5869. That's 310-776-COONS. You can tune in midnight Pacific time every night. And I'm going to be here at least 4 nights a week. And tonight, let's talk about what else did I have planned tonight? Because I'm going to talk about the X-Files coming up. So join me for that. At the last maybe 20 minutes of the show, I want to talk about the X-Files. But let me go back to events and see what else did I plan to do, because I had 3 or 4 things planned I wanted to do. Yes, okay. X-Files. Oh yes, infomercial flashback, of course. Here we go. This might be really weird for some of you to watch, but we're totally going to do an infomercial flashback. And this, I'm going to actually have it be full screen here, because I want you to be able to see and hear kind of the whole thing. Let me go to YouTube. Again, text me anytime, 310-776-5869. That is 310-776-COONS, don't you know? And I will even put my animation back up, because why not? But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is show you the SnackMaster infomercial. This is one of my favorite all-time infomercials. And I don't know why I'm so fascinated by it, but I am completely fascinated by sort of the earnestness of, you know, this was so straightforward. And this was kind of in the days before infomercials were really infomercials yet, you know. This is just such a, and I just like looking at the food and watching her cook all these sandwiches and stuff. So now please enjoy the SnackMaster from about the year 1990 here on cBas After Dark. And then we'll do X-Files after it's over in about 10-15 minutes, okay? Here we go.
I'm not putting any butter or margarine on the bread.
It
That's
starts
one less
kind
thing
of
for Mom to
upcut
put
a little
away
bit,
later
but
on.
enjoy.
Now, I always keep a tray of pizza fixings in the refrigerator so they can make whatever kind they like. And the pizza sauce right out of a jar. Just spread it on your bread. A spoon, just like this. These are great, too, on sourdough bread. Makes it taste a little more like a pizzeria-type pizza. A little bit of pizza sauce. And then any kind of topping you like. Now, the kids are real fond at my house of pepperoni, so I'm just going to throw on some pepperoni slices here. Cooked ham or sausage. This is a great way to get rid of leftovers. Anything that you have in the refrigerator is fair game for a sandwich, at least it is at my house. Now, I have some mozzarella cheese here. We'll just load that up in the center. And if you like olives, pepperoni, mushrooms, a little bit of green peppers on that one. Here's some mushrooms. That's my favorite. Nice thing about this is everybody can make it to suit them. We do a lot of entertaining at our house, and I'll just put out this plate of fixings and another tray of different kinds of bread and let everybody put together their own pizzas. Now there's your second slice of bread, and once again we're going to close it down. Now notice this latch. When I close it down, it locks in place, and that's what seals the sandwiches at the edges and cuts them as they cook. Now that's going to take about 2 minutes to cook. So let me show you the machine. You've got a non-stick vegetable-based material that's baked right to the metal. It's eating all day long. You can be sure it's kept real busy. One of their favorites is to
There's a
take
couple of jumps
beef
in this.
stew and make beef pot pies. You can use these refrigerator biscuit doughs for the crust, just pat it out flat and lay it in there instead of slices of bread. And when I'm not around, those boys will even take leftover spaghetti on leftover garlic bread and make spaghetti sandwiches. Anything works. Now there's our sandwich, all nicely browned, no butter or margarine on that bread. And it's all sealed so you can send it off to work or school in a lunch pail. Now if you've got little ones around the house, the ones that only eat the centers out of their sandwiches, I'll show you a little trick you can use. Take that sandwich, place it back across the cutting bars so it's going the other direction this time. Close it once more.
Excuse me.
And we're going to have 4 little hors d'oeuvre-sized sandwiches in just a couple of seconds here. Now, most of the time, these end up getting eaten on the way to school. I wrap them in a paper towel and send them out the door with the kids. But if they can sit down to breakfast, that's a beautiful, nourishing breakfast, and it's easy for the kids to eat. Here's our little hors d'oeuvre-sized sandwiches. And the little ones love these. Notice they're all corners, no middle, so they got to eat the whole thing. Now let's get the pizza out of the oven. Again, nicely browned, and remember, there's no butter or margarine on any of this food. And all of my filling is locked inside the pizza. It's not running all over the inside of my skillet here. Let's take a look at the inside and see how they look. Oh, what do you think?
I'm weirdly fascinated by this
infomercial. Running in here any minute. You know, if you're buying those Pillsbury turnovers and pockets and things like this at the grocery store,
Hot Pockets.
This is how you can make the same product.
Yeah,
at home
make
for
Hot
just
Pockets at
pennies.
home.
And there's a whole lot more filling in mine than the ones you buy out of the freezer section. And next, we're going to show you how to bake with your SnackMaster, and we'll make some cinnamon rolls and some cornbread. Okay, now I want to show you how you can bake with your SnackMaster. It'll bake any of these wet batters in only 4 minutes. So that means something that would ordinarily need to go in the oven for 20 or 30 minutes at 400 degrees is going to bake in here in only 4 minutes. Muffins, snack and cake, gingerbread, cornbread. 8 o'clock at night when the kids say, don't we have something for dessert? I can have cupcakes on the table in only 4 minutes without turning on the oven. Now what I've got here is a little corn muffin mix, and I've mixed it according to the package directions. But instead of 20 minutes in a 400-degree oven, I'm going to bake it in the SnackMaster in only 4. Now all you do is just pour the batter right into the center of the wells, just as if you were filling muffin pans. And if you want to get a little creative, sometimes I put a little crushed pineapple in that, makes it like a Hawaiian cornbread.
Gross.
Sometimes I dice some jalapenos in there, make Mexican cornbread.
Also
or if
gross.
I've got a lot of little kids around that I'm feeding, I'll push a half of a wiener or a hot dog right down in the center of each well.
That's okay.
And that's going to give me little corn dogs in only 4 minutes. Now you can also
I always love in these
make
shows
your
they have like
refrigerator
15 of the
doughs
machines.
in the SnackMaster. Your cinnamon rolls or your crescent rolls or even refrigerator biscuits. These would ordinarily take 20 minutes in a 400-degree oven. Let me show you how to bake them right in here in only 4. Now, instead of spreading them out individually on a plate, I'm going to go ahead and push 2 of them into each well here. And I want to show you something kind of special about your SnackMaster. Remember when we made the sandwiches?
I kind of feel like she overdoes that right there.
When you push that down
Like,
on the latch,
those are supposed to be able to
that's what
fluff
does
up.
the sealing of your sandwich. When you're cooking something that needs to rise, like your corn muffins or your doughs, You want to leave the machine so that it's resting on the latch, not locked all the way shut. So with my cinnamon rolls here, I'm going to lock it for just a second, long enough to make them spread out and fill the wells evenly. And now I'm going to hook it off the latch, and you watch, that's going to rise. But over here, I'm going to show you something kind of special, one of my favorite recipes to make at home. I have a lot of leftovers sometimes to deal with, so what I've got here are some instant mashed potatoes that were left over from last night's dinner, and I've added a can of tuna and a beaten egg and a little salt and pepper, and I'm going to make some tuna puffs in here. These are great for a light lunch with a salad, but there's no bread in this one. So all I'm going to do is just push those right down into the well here. And go ahead and load them up. You've got a nice deep well, top and bottom, so there's plenty of room to put plenty of food in there. Don't be skimpy. And you don't have to fill both sides of the SnackMaster. So if you're just cooking for yourself, go ahead and just fill one side. Now let me latch that right down. And now we'll have a little bit of fun. One of the favorite things around my house is Mexican food. And you don't have to use just bread and doughs in your SnackMaster. You can also use things like tortillas. Corn and flour tortillas all work excellently in here. When I make quesadillas, I use my flour tortillas. And you notice these are round. Don't try to trim them to fit yourself. Let the machine do that trimming for you. Now I'm going to use just a little bit of margarine this time, because that kind of helps to keep them from drying out so much. So I use a little paintbrush, as you notice, and I'm just going to brush it on there lightly. A couple of layers here. And we'll place those tortillas in there with the butter side down. And now let's go to the refrigerator and get our goodies to put inside. If you want just a plain quesadilla, you can just layer in your cheeses. You can use your Jack or Swiss or mozzarella. We'll put a kind of a combination in there today. And any of your fresh vegetables, your peppers or your olives. How about some tomatoes? Don't those look great?
They do. I think they totally will.
And then don't forget your taco sauce. Right out of a jar. Going to pour a little sauce right on the top. If you want some meat in these, that's okay too. Some crumbled up hamburger would go real good inside there. Now my top tortillas. I'm just lightly brushing these. You don't want to put too much butter or margarine on your food if you use it, because that will keep the sandwich from sealing properly. So that's going to be the top crust right there. Now don't worry about what's not inside the machine, because once you latch it down, anything that's hanging out over the edges, you're just going to trim away.
We're just going to trim away.
And that's not going to get eaten anyway. The machine will actually do it for you. Once the latch is locked, it'll trim that off for you. Now you've got an 80 recipe cookbook right along with your SnackMaster. Lots of recipes and ideas in here to get you started. You're also going to get my helpful hint pamphlet, which gives you the recipes I'm cooking right now and a lot of information about using things like tortillas and egg roll wrappers in your SnackMaster.
Okay, and then I want to watch the second half here, just part of it. We won't watch the whole thing.
See how these cinnamon rolls are rising here?
I just want to see if
puffed the lid right off the machine.
Yeah, I think like she overdid the
those
cinnamon
look
rolls. I
great.
think those are way
Let's get
too
'em out here on the
like
plate.
dense.
And now let's check and see if our cornbread's done. Oh, yeah, nicely browned. This is great on a hot summer day when you don't want to heat up the oven to make a little cornbread to go with the dinner you're heating in the microwave. And remember, these are corn dogs, so when the kids bite into them, they're going to find a hot dog hidden inside. Now, let's get our potato pancakes out of here. Remember, these were just leftover mashed potatoes, a little bit of tuna and a beaten egg inside, and that's a wonderful light lunch with a salad. No bread on that one. And our quesadilla. These are terrific.
Those do look good.
Let's cut inside and see how this one looks. Oh, delicious. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down.
Dave, you're looking hungry over there. Come on in here and taste some of this food.
taking every bit of selfish.
And then, okay, then in comes this guy from out of nowhere. I think he might have been sort of the comparative host of the show.
It even tastes better than it smells.
It even tastes better than it smells.
I know a lot of people have been watching this and they want one of these.
Like, I cannot imagine a less attractive spokesperson.
And by the way, this is not only for use in the home.
Not for just the home, of course not.
Use it on camping trips, on boats. It's got $49.95. Here are the numbers I want you to call.
To order your SnackMaster, and remember you save $10 if you order it today. The full price, $49.95, plus $8 for shipping and handling. The phone number to call is 1-800-828-7272. That's 1-800-828-7272. Or send a check or money order to Clark National. It's the kitchen helper that will make your life easier.
I just love looking at the food, and I love sort of the
metal. It won't flake off.
It is almost like TV cable access quality, you know? Obviously, it's infomercial quality, so it's a little better than public access. But I feel like that's what it feels like. It's very kind of basic. But, you know, because the product has food involved, the food looks pretty damn good, especially if you can have 16 machines going at once.
Bake cornbread or any other wet dough in just 4 minutes. The kids love these corn dogs, and they only took 4 minutes. What a time and work saver. Desserts are easy, too. Use any filling you choose. Minutes later, you have a wonderful hot pie. The SnackMaster is
she does the desserts actually live in a second here. That's what I'm hanging on for, is her to do those pies.
It's the kitchen helper everyone can use. Delicious hot food is only minutes away. Order yours now.
All right. Now, I told you I was going to save the best for last.
There's the title in the corner, by the way, Making Life Easier, which is kind of very funny that it's not, you know, SnackMaster.
Letting your family do some of their own cooking. And breakfast seems to be one of the meals at my house that I always got to make, because everybody else said, we can't cook eggs, we can't make pancakes, so let me show you something that your kids can do for themselves. Now, we've talked a lot about not putting any butter or margarine on your SnackMaster, but now I'm going to brush it with just a little light coating of margarine, because I'm going to fry some eggs in here. And those are one of those things that I just don't like the way they taste unless they have just a little bit of butter. So just top and bottom, all 8 wells, with just a little light coating of butter.
I agree, as long as it's actual butter, not margarine.
Batter. This is a refrigerated pancake batter. Just fill each well just up to the flutes in there with your pancake batter.
The flutes?
And we've got some brown and served sausages over here. Just tuck one in each of those wells.
Okay, and she's already ruined the pancakes for me.
Fried eggs are one of those things that most people don't do very well. Again, because they have to stand at the stove and babysit with them. So all you do is just crack an egg into each one of those wells. Just like that.
I love it.
And now we'll close the lid.
I totally want this machine.
Now, if you happen to be somebody that maybe doesn't like fried eggs, let me show you my favorite. We'll make an omelet over here on this side. And again, I'm going to brush just a little bit of butter in each one of the wells. Now, we're going to go to the refrigerator and get out our omelet fixings. I've got some mushrooms, cheese, whatever you like in an omelet. And here's my beaten egg. Now again, just fill each one of the wells right up to the flute. Just like that.
I guess that must be the term for those indentations, because I don't get the word flute.
And everybody can make their own favorite flavor. I like cheese. Maybe you like some mushrooms in it.
I'm okay with that. Just don't put any pepper. No.
Maybe even some tomatoes. Let's try a little mozzarella on this side. Every time I make these, I make them differently, and they're always good. Now we're going to close that down.
I do like the idea of a tray of pizza fixings right there in the fridge at all times.
Depending on how well done you like your eggs. Let's take a peek and see what we've got here. Oh, coming right along. Now, that one looks just a little bit runny still, so we'll give it another second or so. If you want to make more like a poached egg, what you'll do is put about a teaspoon of water into each of the wells before you close the lid, and that'll steam it right inside there, so it'll get a little bit more well done. I think that's just about right for me. The plate over here and pull this out.
Hope she
And
enjoys
look
her
at
running
pancakes.
eggs.
You know, these pancakes are great for the little ones because they're kind of like finger foods. They can pick them up in their hands and dip them in the syrup and kind of eat on the run. Now that omelet's going to take just a couple more seconds there. Remember what I told you, when you're cooking anything with eggs or something that's going to rise, you want to leave that latch resting on the latch so it has room to puff up. And we've taken you with the SnackMaster all the way from breakfast clear up to dinner, and now I think it's time for dessert. And what I'm going to show you is one of my favorite little tricks. I'm going to show you how to make apple pie without rolling pie dough. Now, if you're a good cook and like rolling dough, go right ahead because it works excellently in here. So does phyllo dough or puff pastry dough, egg roll wrappers. You can even use flour tortillas. I'm just going to use a couple of slices of bread because I believe in making life easier. And on this one, I am going to put just a little bit of butter because I found that it makes it taste a little bit more like pie crust. And when I'm finished, I'm going to sprinkle a little powdered sugar on it, and that'll help the powdered sugar to stick. So I'm placing the butter in the SnackMaster, the bread in the SnackMaster with the butter side down, and I'm going to use apple today, pie filling right out of a can. Now it could be apple or berry, cherry, peach, pineapple, raisin, rhubarb, raspberry, whatever kind of pie you're in the mood for. Just stack it right up there in the center. You don't have to be stingy with your filling, because remember, you've got that nice deep well, top and bottom. Now this is going to be the top crust of my apple pie. You'll see what I'm doing here. Let's brush just a little bit more butter on there. And right on the top. And close the lid. And in 2 minutes, that's going to be pie. Now I hear my omelets over here. Can you see how those have puffed the lid right off the SnackMaster again? Let's see what we got.
I love when they're sort of, she's actually almost legitimately delighted.
Delicious?
Are those delicious?
I wish you could smell the way these smell. What did I do with my little lifter? I've lost it again. Well, we'll use a knife. Since nothing sticks,
she lost her lifter.
The food from the
yeah, I'm transfixed by this.
Slide it right up there. That's the mushroom omelet.
Mushroom omelet.
Spanish omelet.
Yum. Spanish omelet. Yeah.
Oh, these look delicious. Everybody can make their own favorite flavor. A lot of times we have buffet breakfast at our house, and I'll just set the SnackMaster right out on the table and let everybody come by and make their own favorite snacks. And the kids and their friends really enjoy doing that. Now, I think this pie should be just about ready. Let's see. A couple more seconds. You know, have you ever bought these at the grocery store? $2.79. You get 4 little frozen pies. Take them home and bake them for 45 minutes. Then you find out they forgot to put apples in yours. Take a look at what I've got here. This is just 2 slices of white bread, some apple pie filling out of a can, and it's all hot and sealed, so you can send it off to work or off to school in the lunch pail. I'm going to dust mine with just a little bit of powdered sugar.
Yeah, she's fascinated by the word lunch pail. I wish she wouldn't say that.
Come out of there. And if you ever bought one of these at the fast food restaurant, I think you'll agree when you get them there, they never seem to look like this on the inside. Mine's got some apples in it. And we'll set these out here on the plate.
I don't get the thing about the... I guess I don't really have much experience with those frozen...
Just 4 apple turnovers real fast.
Pies. Those look amazing, though.
So, Dave, what do you think?
Well, I tell you, know,
back
that
to Dave
pie,
here.
I make it so many times, and I make it with whole wheat bread.
Yeah.
And really, you wouldn't know that it was bread. You know, with the apples,
I'm sorry.
the powdered sugar,
Can we go back a
sec?
second?
Cinnamon that I like on it. And really, you wouldn't know that it was bread.
Hold on.
You know, that apple
Listen
pie,
to what she
I
says.
Make it so many times, and I make it with whole wheat bread.
Yeah.
She's all, yeah. That's kind of the yeah of ew. Gross.
And really, you wouldn't know that it was bread. You know, with the apples and the powdered sugar on it, a little cinnamon that I like on it. It's absolutely delicious. And another thing with the SnackMaster that a lot of people enjoy
is a go to black situation. Well, here we are. It's cBas. It is after dark. It is 12:45 p.m. West Coast California time. It is 08:45 GMT, and the last thing I'm going to do is what I promised. I know we sat through that entire infomercial ridiculously, but I'm completely fascinated by it, and I love looking at the food. I just always have. Anyway. All right, let's see here. Can we adjust this just a touch? All right, I want to talk about the goddamn X-Files. I liked it. I want to say I liked it first and foremost, spoiler alert. So if you're worried about having it ruined, please turn off the show now, because I am going to actually show it, not on full screen, but on this screen. Perhaps. No, I know where to go. Here we go. I will just do that, and then we'll do this, and then I will go, oh, look. It is buffering. I want to open file. I want to open 11.1. Here we go. Yes, I had some cosmic timing, as my friend Ansel pointed out today, because I forgot the X-Files was on until like 8:22. And then I saw the TV guide, and I'm like, oh no, I forgot the X-Files. And I remember thinking, okay, here's what I'm gonna remember. The UFO crashes right there at the beginning. And I'm thinking, okay, that's when I came in. So I'm 20 minutes in. When people will say, how much did you miss? I'll be able to say it started when the UFO crashed. Turns out, as you will see in a couple of moments here, this is the very beginning. Okay. There's not really anything to hear.
Are we truly alone?
Are we truly alone?
Or are we being lied to?
And if you know the show like I know the show, you instantly recognize the original opening sequence, made for HD, because the original open sequence was the square TV shape, 4:3. But these are the original IDs that they showed. This is the original clip of the opening. Like, this is the X-Files. This is added, but it's okay. They did it very well to match all the others, and that's it. The truth is out there.
The X-Files is what?
And then we have the commercials. So I did watch it with commercials. I will tell you, I watched the show twice. And I will tell you that at first blush, and I was worried because I'm worried that I'm kind of hating everything new. It's not true, and I have proven it to myself a number of times. Yes, I hate the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, but the reason I know I don't hate all new Star Trek is because I've seen the kind of fan-made show that is replicating the original Captain Kirk Star Trek. And it's done pretty surprisingly well, but the thing is, the stories are actually really good. And even though the actors are not like the original actors, and the set's not exactly like the real set, like, I can still look at it and I can still be like, you know what? I like this. I am enjoying, I'm wrapped up in the story, you know, my brain is engaged the way I want to be entertained, and blah, 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 blah. By the way, a commercial for Henry's Hard Soda was something tonight. I was thinking, Henry's Hard Soda. I guess this is to help kids get drunk, right? That's the only thing I can think. Because it's like hard lemonade, but lighter than hard lemonade. So, I mean, I don't even know. I did notice several alternative delivery method ads. I think there was a Hulu. I think there was a Netflix ad later in the show. One of the guest stars, in fact, the first guest star we see is the guy named Joel McHale. If you know, he was from E! Originally, and then he went on, I think he was in either that show Community or the other one that I confuse Community with. Like, he was in a half-hour sitcom. And if it wasn't Community, I don't remember what it was. But I'm not a Joel McHale fan. That's why. I didn't really watch Joel McHale. I'm a little bit intrigued by that Lucifer thing. High Desert, New Mexico 47, where we start at Roswell, essentially. Guest starring Joel McHale. Scully's now like an assistant doctor. She gets a call from Kramer. Why did I say Kramer? She gets a call from Skinner, and then she is then intrigued enough to call him. And Skinner tells him to turn on Tad O'Malley. That's Joel McHale here. He's a conspiracy fucking nutball. And I thought I was going to hate Joel McHale in this, and it turns out I like that he's the conspiracy nutball. I think he actually was really good. Like, he made me like him as this sleazy character. So I was all into Joel McHale. I was happy that I was wrong in that way. Truthfully, I was really happy. I feel like Scully's skin, I know we've all aged. I look like shit, so who am I to judge? But I feel like Scully's face was a little bit tightened. I think they made Mulder look a little grungier than they had to. She actually looks quite beautiful through most of it, even though, she looks like she's had a touch of work done. To me, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Mulder hasn't shaved in a week. She's all Uber, and he's all hitchhiked. Okay. That's funny, right? There's a few of the old classic funny, kind of moments. Ouch. But it wasn't all good moments. So they're talking to Joel McHale. He starts telling them about his theory. Mulder tests him a little bit. They go out to this girl's house, this young woman's house. The young woman supposedly was interviewed by Mulder as a child with her mom and dad because she was abducted as an alien abductee, blah, blah, blah. So she remembers Mulder. She suggested that Joel McHale call Mulder. And so now they call Mulder. And so, blah, blah, blah. So now they're in the case. Joel, I think Mulder buys into it. I'm sort of trying to skip along a little bit here. She tests the girl's blood. Not once but twice. The girl says she can read minds, and Scully says, "Yeah, right," and then ends up getting her mind read a couple of times, enough to seem like. Anyway, so then these guys take Mulder to I forget the acronym they use. It's essentially a replica of an alien flying machine, an alien ship. Okay, so they have this replica somebody built that really works. He puts his hand on it, he touches it. It's this kind of weird, flawless, metallic finish. And then there's a high-pitched whirring, and the thing starts floating. All right. Yeah. Cool. And then... Oops. Let's see. It can disappear. That's what I was sort of trying to find without wasting any more time. It can disappear, this ship. Okay, blah, 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 right? Ridiculous. Anyway, Mulder sees this and now believes something. I guess believes Joel McHale's story about aliens and starts to really buy into the fact that it's not aliens at all. It never has been aliens. It's actually alien technology built using our own government, with our own government as the trigger, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's our own government. Now, here's the thing. Any X-Files fan will remember this has been raised maybe even more than one time before. There have been times when Mulder says, aha, not UFOs. Aircraft built using UFO technology, right? That goes back to the first season, if not the very first episode. I can't really remember exactly. They find an alien. Joel McHale visits her again and then ends up doing a story about her on his conspiracy nutbag, Glenn Beck on crack, essentially, kind of podcast video show, right? She's always going online and looking him up and watching his latest show. Well, then she's watching and he does a clip on her and some kind of rather the work that she's doing now that helps kids with no ears grow ears or something. Anyway, totally helping kids with deformities, and it's really cool. He does a story on her kind of without telling her, kind of after just showing up one day, and so that was kind of weird. And then we have this scene where Mulder tries to talk to her about the truth and blah, blah, blah. Hulu ad. All right, then Mulder comes back to the office. He's like, I need to use the X-Files. The X-Files. The files. The actual files. And, all of them are gone. Or, I don't know. We'll see what happens here in a sec. But, essentially, yeah, it's all cleaned out, right? Notice that his poster, I want to believe, is still here on the floor of his office. As are the pencils that he threw into the popcorn ceiling. It's pretty well done, actually. I mean, there's no doubt there's the pencils, It's all been cleaned out. He doesn't know where anything has gone. As a result, Mulder is not inclined to necessarily tell him what he's been doing. Okay. And he says, you owe me some answers, Skinner, blah, blah, blah. What do you do? How are you involved in this? Here's the story he does about Scully, Truth Squad with Tad O'Malley. Anyway, I gotta say, as I said once before already, he blew me away. Like, I was really actually enjoying his character and him playing it. Like, I was completely on board and, felt bad that I had thought it would be bad. She gets test results. She has them sent back to be retested. He meets an old guy. Mulder meets an old guy who's like another one of his Deep Throat characters, really old guy. Turns out the old guy is the doctor who was summoned to, Roswell for the first ever alien UFO crash. Okay. And blah, blah, blah. Let me tell the world. They'll make a mockery of us. So he goes to Scully and tries to, get Scully on board. He's like, aha, now I've got it. And that's what always bothers me. That's what bothered me about the Da Vinci Code, the movie. I never read the book, but the movie, The Da Vinci Code, totally was like every 25 to 30 minutes, he would be like, he'd kind of think, write stuff down, read stuff, and then all of a sudden something would brilliantly dawn on him, and he's off on the next part of the journey. And after about 6 of those, aha, like it's so formulaic that I really, really didn't like it at all, the Da Vinci Code. And I kind of felt some of that here, where it's like, all right, Mulder has to have his aha moment. Now I know what's really going on. And it's actually not aliens, but, UFOs, American military craft built using UFO technology. Scully's going to leave. She's like, fuck this, Mulder. I got to get out of here. You're crazy. And Joel McHale pulls up. He's like, no, don't leave. Are you going to leave? You can't leave. I need to show you. I would have invited you, but I didn't think you would have come, Mulder says. And so, all right, she's in the car ready to leave, and she gets out of the car and comes back in, listens to the whole story, tells him that it's essentially, what it is, which is a conspiracy, of really kind of embarrassing proportions. And I mean, it's all over the place. It goes back to like World War II. We're older, and the Russians this and the blah 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 blah. And she's like, you can't say these things. It's almost treason, like fucking don't do this. And then the girl, the young woman whose house they're in, I think, kind of chimes in the conversation after being quiet a long time. She's all, especially if it helps, reveal the truth. And then Scully kind of looks at her and is like, oh, yeah, I had your blood test results. They came back. You have no alien DNA at all. And she had claimed to be like half alien or had some DNA left in her. Yeah, your test results were negative. She has no evidence of alien DNA. And that was a good cliffhanger moment. Like, it sort of goes around the horn. Every character gets their close-up. And then it's like, and then she's like, all right, peace. And she's leaving. And I was like, oh, that's kind of good. Anyway. And it did not end there. Let's try and finish. I know I'm over my time, but thanks for hanging out anyway. So now Sveta disappears. Military Humvees break into the place where the alien ship has been replicated. They punch out the scientist guys, kind of rough them up. I don't think they shoot anybody. They put explosive charges on the alien ship, and then they run. My friend already commented to me, he's like, why didn't, instead of they try to stop them with their hands and negotiating, just hit the button on the ship and let it fly up and away? All right, we don't know, but the ship blew up. Let's see, Scully gets more results back, and they confirm not only does the girl have alien DNA after all, but so does Scully. Scully had her own blood tested, and she has alien DNA too. We don't know why or how. One thing I'm wondering already is the girl their baby, or at least Scully's baby from like the alien, whatever, the stuff that she went through in seasons 1 and 2. And then, then the girl, Svetna, is in her car. Laser beam comes down from a UFO. And spoiler alert, She tries to get out of the car, but let's just say she doesn't get out of the car, nor does she get abducted. Interesting, right? The door opens and then she detonates and the alien ship flies away. So, pretty good body count. Oh, yes. And then the last sort of big reveal, cut to the fireplace, from the explosion of the fireplace. I did notice that, and I did like that. Camera shot comes around the old guy, and sure enough, who is it? It's our friend, the smoking man from the X-Files, who now has to have a tracheotomy, but still smokes through the tracheotomy hole. And frankly, his makeup looks atrocious. That's one thing I noticed, was that sometimes the makeup to make actors look much older is not very good. Like, especially in HD. Like, HD is not kind. The other thing I liked was what you just saw right there. At the very tail end, guest starring William B. Davis. They held that. They didn't put him in the opening credits or anything so that he could have kind of that reveal, I think, at the end. But more than just being in the closing credits, which go by in the snapping finger. X-Files episode 1 of 6 is done. That's my review. I liked it. Like, I really gave it, again, I'm kind of in a B+ giving mood, I guess, because I feel like that's even a A-. Like, except for the kind of Da Vinci Code effect that I detected a time or two. I really liked it. It seemed like they were a little eager to get back into it, and it also seems like it's going to be a good, interesting next episode, and that's tomorrow. So even though it's Game Show Tuesday, I will be here with you to sort of do X-Files review. Since it's happening, I might as well. And then coming up in the next week or two, it's the 1-year anniversary of this show. So we will be doing kind of some retro stuff. I'll actually be going back and enjoying some of the stuff that we had done a year ago in February of 2015, because we'll be in February of 2016 that this takes place. All right. Well, it is now 1:03 on the west coast of the United States. It is 09:03 GMT. Join me every night, Monday morning, essentially, through Thursday morning, essentially, for cBas After Dark. Again, it's Nerd News Monday. And I did my own version of Nerd News today, but it was good. And then Game Show Tuesday, Media Watch Wednesday, Anything Can Happen Thursday. So join me, not only for game shows tomorrow, but more X-Files extraordinary action reviewed here on cBas After Dark. Good night. I need to find a way to dramatically drop the lighting as the show is going off the air. Like, I think that would be good. Unfortunately, not possible tonight. So, good night.